Pregnant woman faints in court. Mistress's smile fades when judge reads DNA test. The courtroom was silent until a pregnant woman suddenly collapsed. Gasps echoed as people rushed to help her. On the other side, a young woman smirked, thinking she had already won. Everyone believed the mistress's lies that the wealthy businessman had abandoned his wife for her. But what no one expected was the twist the judge was about to reveal. When the DNA report was opened, the truth shattered every lie, every fake tear, and every cruel word. That day, the courtroom didn't just deliver justice, it exposed betrayal, greed, and the power of a mother's love. What happened next would leave everyone speechless, especially the mistress whose smile was about to disappear forever. Sarah sat quietly in the courtroom, her hands trembling as she held her baby bump. Her husband, Daniel, a respected businessman, was sitting on the other side with his mistress, a woman named Vanessa. For months, Vanessa had accused Sarah of lying, claiming Daniel was the father of her unborn child. The media had torn Sarah apart. Friends turned away, and the shame nearly destroyed her. Daniel had changed too. Once a loving husband, he had started believing Vanessa's manipulations. She had shown him fake messages, doctored photos, and even false medical reports. Now, Sarah was alone, fighting for her dignity. As the trial began, Vanessa smirked confidently. Her lawyer painted Sarah as a jealous, bitter woman clinging to a man who didn't love her anymore. Sarah's lawyer, Mr. Thomas, stayed calm. "Your Honor," he said, "we have requested a DNA test to reveal the truth." Daniel looked uncomfortable. "There's no need," he murmured. "I already know the truth." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "Do you, Daniel? Or do you only know what she's told you?" The judge ordered the DNA results to be submitted the next day. Vanessa left the courtroom with a triumphant smile while Sarah sat in silence, broken, yet still hoping truth would speak louder than lies. The next morning, the courtroom was packed. Journalists filled every seat. Vanessa arrived dressed elegantly, waving to the cameras. Sarah entered quietly, her face pale. As the judge began to read the case summary, Sarah suddenly felt dizzy. Her hands clutched her stomach, then she fainted. Panic spread instantly. Daniel rushed forward, instinctively catching her before she hit the ground. "Sarah, someone call an ambulance." Vanessa rolled her eyes, whispering, "Drama queen." When Sarah regained consciousness a few minutes later, Daniel was by her side. For the first time in months, concern filled his eyes. But before she could say anything, the judge cleared his throat. "Mr. Daniel Carter, Miss Vanessa Reed, the DNA results are ready." Vanessa smiled confidently. Finally, the truth. The judge opened the envelope, his expression changing as he read. The courtroom fell silent. According to the DNA report, the unborn child of Miss Vanessa Reed is not biologically related to Mr. Daniel Carter. Gasps echoed across the room. Vanessa froze, her confident smile disappearing in an instant. Daniel looked shocked. What? What are you saying?" The judge continued, "Furthermore, a separate paternity confirmation shows that Mrs. Sarah Carter's child belongs to you, Mr. Carter." Sarah burst into tears as Daniel dropped to his knees. Realizing how deeply he had wronged her, Vanessa tried to protest. "That can't be true. There must be a mistake." But the judge held up the signed laboratory report. "All tests have been verified. Ms. Reed, you are under investigation for submitting falsified medical documents." Suddenly, her confidence shattered. Security escorted her away as cameras flashed. The woman who once smiled so arrogantly now hid her face in shame. Daniel turned to Sarah, guilt flooding his eyes. "Sarah, I don't deserve forgiveness. I believed her lies over you." Sarah looked at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You didn't just stop believing me, Daniel. You stopped believing us." He held her hands. "Please let me make it right. I was blind, but I see now who truly stood by me." The judge adjourned the case, declaring Sarah innocent and Vanessa guilty of fraud. As Sarah walked out of court, the crowd that once whispered about her now applauded her courage. Daniel promised to rebuild their trust, but Sarah knew wounds take time to heal. Still, as she felt her baby kick, she smiled softly. "The truth always finds its way," she whispered, and behind them, the mistress who once smiled at another woman's pain now faced her own downfall. Proof that lies may shine for a while, but truth never fades. If this story touched your heart, share it to remind others that truth always wins and love built on trust never dies. #truth revealed, #emotional story, #court drama, #respect women, #moral story, #faith and forgiveness.